What is up, guys? We're back on the Bias Opinion. Actually, back where one of the first shows was, I guess, in Frenchy's distribution in France, and it was where I announced that I was moving to France. And 2 years later, we're back, and thought we'd catch up again with Shane and do a little Bias Opinion.
You're still living the dream.
Still living the dream. That is very true. Luckily, long may it continue.
Talking about a dream, so we probably should go back to the start of the year when you spent a bit of time in New Zealand. What was it like to spend a bit of time at home and have some Frenchy come over and ride with you in the lead up to the World Cups this year?
Yeah, that was really special to form these friendships over here and work away at my craft in France and then to take it back home. And I didn't, I went home, and the first day I got home, I was into training mode, and all I could think about was that World Cup in New Zealand. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to have a World Cup in New Zealand and to showcase that level of racing in New Zealand. So it was super cool to have that, and for the Frenchies to come over and show them a bit of New Zealand, and yeah, to have a World Cup was crazy. So I really appreciated, I was really grateful, and I just enjoyed that moment of having a World Cup in New Zealand. But then also Australia, I haven't raced in Australia in so many years, where when I was junior and first few years in elite, I was over in Australia once or twice every single year. So to head over there and do Oceania as the first week and see so many familiar faces that I haven't seen in so many years was really nice, actually. And I got such a good reception when I was racing in Australia, which I didn't expect, but it was super cool to have two, I guess, home World Cups and start off the season quite well.
So you had a little bit of a mishap on the first World Cup. Tell us what went down.
Yeah, the day was almost going too good that first day. I think I won my first 2 laps. I did, and then going into the quarterfinals, I just got caught up going over the berm jump and got high-sided and ended up doing the splits. And I ended up tearing. I didn't know at the time, but I tore my hamstring in 2 spots, one like a 9 centimeter tear and the other a 3 centimeter tear. So going into Sunday, I was very sore, but luckily I seen the physios and doctors there, and they said, well, if we strap it up and as long as you don't do the splits again, it should be okay. So yeah, I managed to get through Sunday with a bit of adrenaline, bit of painkillers, and then Monday it hit me like a brick wall. It was just like, holy smokes, how am I going to get through Oceanias or the World Cup the following weekend in Australia? And the day I arrived in Australia, I went to the doctors and got it scanned and found out there was a tear. And initially he said to me, 10 weeks off the bike. I said, 10 weeks? I got 5 days. And luckily I had my physio back in New Zealand to FaceTime and get through the worst part of it early in the week and just start strengthening all the muscles around it. And luckily enough, I got back on the bike the day of Oceanias, learnt the track in half an hour and rode quite well for Oceanias. And then for the World Cup it was a little bit better. I had a week extra of rehab, and I rode the track once or twice that week as well. So but by the time the World Cup came around, I felt comfortable on the track, and to make a final the first day and then be second in the semi on day 2 and have a crash was a nice weekend and nice end to the trip of Oceania World Cups.
Did you do a pump lap at Seaman? I didn't see it. I don't think I saw a video of it.
I did. I wasn't actually going to do it. I wasn't going to do them at all this year. I was kind of personally, I was a bit okay, whatever. These are too simple. I don't find it impressive myself, and I kind of just did it because people were asking. And then in Rotorua, one of the Colombian boys said that it's impossible to do it at Rotorua, and I was like, fine, I'll do it.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, so I did it there, and then again, I wasn't going to do it in Australia. And then one of the guys, Brett at Lux, he bet me $100 I couldn't do it. I said, okay. So Sunday morning in official practice, I did the pump lap, but it's Rotorua was a difficult one. like it was quite a challenge. But for Brisbane, the track was quite fast and with the surface, and got quite a lot of fall. It wasn't a difficult one in Brisbane.
So how did it feel to get your first World Cup final for the year? What was that, round 3 in Brisbane?
That was nice. In New Zealand, I felt like the way I was riding, I felt like I could be in the final. That was kind of the first time I've been like confident enough the way I'm riding. Like, okay, like if I keep doing this and get through these rounds, I could be in the final. And then to leave New Zealand with 2 quarters, I was like, far out. Like, it's the best I've ever felt, and I've got 2 quarters, which it was pretty stink feeling, to leave. And I felt like the track was such a good track for me. It was wide open, it was long, yet to be quite technical and smooth. And I felt like I'd missed an opportunity. And then going to Australia, I didn't think the track suited me, to be honest. And then, to put it in the final on day 1, I was like, sweet. Like, that's kind of, I just felt like that's what in my heart that's where I needed to be, and that's where I was going to be. And I kind of was accepting nothing else in my head. And then day 2 to again be so close, to get through all those early rounds. And I think people don't understand how hard it is to even get through a 1/8 final. The amount of big hitters in the 1/8 final, you've got to be on your game. You've got to, especially the way I ride, like I'm not whole shotting these rounds and just walking away with it. I've got to kind of make sure I put myself in the right position and get through those early rounds, and to get into the semi and then have such a good gate and be into the first turn in second. For me, in a semi-final, being in second in the first turn isn't sort of where I'd normally find myself, and then fortunately crashed and with another rider, and it was over. It was finished. But
that was a story for a lot of riders at the World Cup. There wasn't it? Those corners were pretty tricky, especially that first one.
Yeah, that first corner was tight. Like, unless you were winning, you couldn't just go full speed around it. You kind of, like I said, had to place yourself in a good position to, again, accelerate down that second straight, because the second straight there was no joke. It was quite a technical first jump to step up, double step down, and then that big booter of a double where you wanted to be carrying speed. So the first corner was tricky. The second and third corner were a bit more straightforward, I guess. Like, you could just go full speed, and they were quite good for overtaking. And then the last straight at Brisbane was super technical, which is nice. But overall, I think the 2 tracks in New Zealand and Australia were really good. I think compared to last year, in my opinion, we rode some tracks that were not up to scratch, and New Zealand and Australia were some of the best tracks on the circuit. So it was quite cool to have that at home, and makes you feel quite proud. I was quite proud to have such a cool World Cup in my home country.
What did the Europeans think of it?
I think from New Zealand, everyone was quite blown away with how big it was. Like how wide open, how big the boom jump was. And the first few days was a bit windy, so people were struggling to get comfortable with the wind as well. But overall, I think everyone loved both tracks. New Zealand and Australia, they weren't similar style, but everyone loved both of them. Like I said, they were both technical. They were both quite big, and it was something different, which is nice. I think we all like different. We all like something new.
Have you heard if next year there'll be some rounds here in the Oceania region again?
I think like speaking to some of the people that organised it and were in charge, because the events were so well supported from the public in New Zealand and Australia, I think that they're definitely keen to get them back. But I guess the problem is having it so far away from Europe and America is just the people going. Like, obviously this year is Olympic year, so all the federations had to go to these races, which is good for New Zealand and Australia. We had the people, all the big hitters, come out and support these races, because Olympic points are on the line. Where if you do it in a non-Olympic year, especially next year, the first year of the 4-year cycle, I'm not sure many people are going to spend their own money, or federations won't fund it because it doesn't mean much in terms of the Olympics. So yeah, I guess that's the worry. That's the worry for New Zealand and Australia. The last World Cup for Australia was in 2020, which was meant to be the Olympic year. So we got a lot of people there as well. But I would fear, in a non-Olympic year, that it wouldn't be supported just because it's so far away.
Yeah.
But but definitely the events were so well supported by the public. Like, you know, the turnout, everything, the fans, they were both amazing World Cups and very well organized from the event side of things. It was just, two very well run World Cups, which is nice for a rider.
How different was it to have like the crowd roaring for you for once rather than everyone else?
Yeah, you know, you dream of it. You know, when we race in Papendal, you hear the crowd for the local Dutchies and Argentina and Colombia, and you're always like, man, imagine if that was me. And to finally have it I can't even describe with how cool that was. And I think in my first round, I overtook in the last corner to go into first, and I just heard the whole crowd start stomping their feet on the grandstand, and I was like, whoa, like, this is sick. And that was wicked. I can't describe with how cool that feeling was. And my club did a lot of like shirts, Michael Byers shirts, so to see lots of kids and stuff around the track with my shirts on was something that I never dreamed of being possible. So it was such a cool event. And then to go over to Australia, and a lot of Kiwis obviously travelled over for the Oceania the week before and stayed, and a lot of the, I guess, Aussie public know us because we're Kiwis just over the ditch. So I felt really well supported in Australia as well, which was nice to have the support there as well.
So the next rounds are in Tulsa. Do you think you'll be going there?
Yep, the plan is to get to Tulsa. I'll probably travel with some of my French mates here. Just trying to organise logistics now, but I'll try to get to Tulsa and then hopefully selected for the World. So then I'll head to Rock Hill if I'm selected and do the trip together, because I think it's 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks between. So
and New Zealand haven't announced their selections yet?
No, not yet. Fingers crossed.
So as soon as the World Cups are over, you're headed straight back to France, and you've already started racing again, straight into it. And you had some good results. What was it, last weekend?
Yeah, the weekend just been, we had the first 2 rounds of the French Cup circuit actually at my home track over here, which was, I've lived here for 2 years now and never raced at that track. And we've had a couple big races there, but last year was a European champs. Obviously, I can't race that. And on a track you race on, practice on so much, you want to race it. So it was quite nice to have the first race for me. And the first day I got 4th, which was my equal best result of the French Cup. And then the second day I got 3rd, which was my first ever podium, which is so cool to do that in front of my second home crowd, and my first French Cup podium, which I never ever dreamed of that, to be honest with you. And French Cups for me were always something that I wanted to do as a kid. So the first year, I made 2 or 3 finals, and just to be in the final, get 5th or wherever, 6th, 7th, I was stoked to be in that final. And then I remember looking at the podiums of like Jeremy Joris and Pillard and just being like, man, I wish one day I could be there. And to do my first one is a pretty cool feeling, a bit of relief as well, you know, to have the people support me, like Inspire and my club, and then to put it on the box. I felt like in a little bit of the way to repay the thank you for them.
So the viewers know, how many racks of pros were there?
We had 100 riders.
Right.
I think 96 or something. So you start off the day, first round, 1/8, quarter, semi-final. And for a French Cup, the level's so high. Even some of the riders that don't do the World Cup circuit, that just race local in France for their clubs, like they're so talented. There's just so much depth here, and it's one of my favourite races to do as a French Cup. I really love it.
Are there a lot of foreigners on the French Cup circuit?
I think there's beginning to be more, you know, like I think on the first day there was 4 foreigners in the final. So there was 4 French, 4 foreigners, and then day 2, maybe 3 foreigners. So there's there's some Spanish guys that come over, some Belgian, Italian, Swiss, and yeah. So it's such a high level. I think all of the countries around try and get to the ones that they can, because they know it's good race preparation. And I think if you can make a final at a French Cup, you can almost make a final at a World Cup. So it's definitely putting yourself in a good position to race those World Cups and keep up the racecraft and stuff like that.
How many rounds are in the French Cup throughout the year?
We have 10 rounds. So the next round is in 2 weeks off a new Supercross track, which is exciting. I love racing Supercross. I like racing 5 meter as well, but Supercross is cool. So I'm excited for that round. It's a week before Tulsa, so I think it's in 2 weeks. So yeah, we race the French Cup and then we fly out the Monday. That's the plan anyway, to Tulsa. And they go through, I think the last French Cup might be in October, November. So they really go from March through to November.
As well as your own personal results, you ride for your club as well, don't you?
Yep. So your points, so each club has, I think, maximum of 10 or 12 riders, and the top 5 riders score points, and it goes towards the national division. So after the weekend, we had a really good week in our club, and I think we're winning by, I'm going to say something wrong, but 140 points or something, which is quite a lot. Obviously, just after the first round, yeah. So last year we lost the division by 1 point, and it was like, I think 1,400 points or something, and we lost by 1 point. So I think our club's quite determined this year to come back and win it for the first time. So Jeremy did well on the weekend. He won both days, which gave us a lot of points. I finished 4th and 3rd, which puts me in 2nd in the ranking. And yeah, we had a few other riders that were in the semis and quarters, which scores good points. So long may it continue.
Is there a lot of prestige around the French Cup?
Yeah, there is actually a lot of history, and it's quite competitive to win that division title. Part of the contract is you've got to do every single French round you can. Obviously, with some of the French team riders that are in the Olympic program, they have some exceptions when it comes to clashing with World Cups or Olympic qualifying. But for every other rider in the contract, you've got to do every French Cup round, because winning that title is so important for sponsors, for the money for the next year, and for everything. So there is a lot of prestige to it, and it's quite cool. The atmosphere of a French Cup is quite cool. I think if you ever have the chance to do a French Cup, you should definitely do it.
And does it get a lot of amateurs there as well?
Yeah, so the thing with France is I think they've got 3 divisions nationally. They've got like a French Cup circuit, a national division, and then they've got like the regional stuff. So to get to a French Cup is 13 plus. So no kids younger than 13 are racing. And it's only the kids that have, got through their regional division, the national division, to the French Cup. That's my understanding of it. So it is very prestigious to even be at a French Cup. And, you might talk to some local riders at your club and you say, are you racing this weekend? They're like, no, like I'm still in the national division, and they're good riders, but it's not an easy thing to get to. So to race a French Cup is an achievement, and it's such a good system they've got here, I think, with the clubs and with the French Cup circuit, and there's so many riders, so it makes it easy.
You were saying earlier it's been about 2 years since you've been there. I think when you first got there, you couldn't speak a word of French. How's your French going now, and how is it sort of navigating your way around France and French Cup kind of events?
In terms of BMX and stuff, I can understand and get my way through a race day. In terms of living every day, it's like not by far from being fluent in French. But yeah, slowly but surely I'm learning, picking up a few words.
Enough to get yourself into trouble?
No, not that much yet. We did a TV interview the other day before the French Cup, and I did 2 questions in English, 2 in French, but they only aired the English one, so must have been rubbish in French.
Before we started talking earlier, you showed me some products you got stashed there next to the camera. Do you want to show us what they've got that's new at Frenchy's?
Yeah, for this year we're running a few new Pride parts. We've got the new Fusion hub, which is like a new. It's got titanium bolts to start, which are quite nice. New Fusion hub, really nice bearings, rolls super good. So I've just got this fresh on my bike. Very nice.
Is that a poles and springs type of setup?
Yeah. We've got the new alloy rim here, which is the lightest rim on the market. It's crazy light. I'm not sure it's for sale yet, but it's going to be for sale very soon.
And that's a Pride rim?
Pride rim, yeah.
It's funny there's no branding on it. You can see the bikes in the background covered in it.
The bike, yeah, I guess because it's so new. And then we've got the new fork, which is also not out yet. This is a sample prototype with the new decals on it, which is super cool. I'm excited to get that on my bike as well. And then we've got the new rear Cogs, Pride Cogs.
Yeah, offset built into them.
Yeah.
That's aluminium.
You say nice aluminium?
Is it aluminium?
Yeah.
So you run an aluminium cog on the back?
Yeah.
Good guy, legs the size of yours, you'd think you'd tear the teeth off.
Size of my cogs or thighs?
Your thighs.
Oh no. I'm not powerful enough.
What was I going to say? Sorry, I've thrown myself off here.
You can see the bikes in the background. There's some of
that's what I was going to ask you about. So the V3 frame only came out, around Christmas time?
Yes, we got the team got them just around Christmas, and now they're out to shops and out for everyone.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it was really cool. Obviously, I got it shipped straight from the factory to New Zealand for me to ride before the World Cup, and when you go to a new frame, I think I got it 2 or 3 weeks before the World Cup. I was a little bit nervous just to change before the World Cup. You get so comfortable on your bike, and yes, you just want to. I was so happy on my V2, and then the V3 came, and I put it together, and honestly, for the first ride, I was just like, yes, like so much more light. We heard it was going to be lighter, and you don't normally feel little things like that. But from the moment I rode it, like just doing a pickup or a manual, I just felt like the difference, which was super cool and very much more reactive. Like when I was doing manuals or jumps, I felt like the bike was just instantly doing what I wanted it to. So that was really nice to have that V3, and I think the results of our team was pretty cool from that first World Cup. Out of the 4 World Cups, I think me, Jeremy, Matisse, we all made a World Cup final, and it was I think it was nice for the brand, and we were also happy straight away on the bikes. So really cool.
I did see Grant Hines shortly after the World Cup, who's part of the CTD, the distributors here. Yeah. And he said based on you guys' results up there at the World Cup, he sold quite a few Inspires, which was good to hear. Yeah,
I think it speaks for itself. Jeremy's got maybe one of the best hill times in the world, and as a result of the World Cups were one of the most consistent. He did 7.44. To be in 3 World Cup finals over four rounds is crazy consistent. And then Matisse, the way he was riding was crazy. He got 4th at a World Cup in Rotorua and crashed on the other day. So yeah, I think that the bikes show, like, what we can do on the bikes really show how good they are. Not just on the gate, but just around the track as well. Like Matisse is one of the most skillful riders in the world. And it just shows how comfortable we are on the bikes. Like, it really does fit nicely when you're riding it. It just has a nice feeling to it. So yeah, everyone I've spoke to since being back in France that has the V3, like, they're all so happy about it, which is cool.
Which colour do you have? Is yours the same as the one over your right shoulder?
Yeah, I've got the middle one. It's like the black grey. It's a nice finish in the sun. But the red. Can you see the red down the end?
It's almost like an anodized red, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a really nice colour as well. And then the blue one's just behind me here. Yeah, they're all nice colours. I've got the black grey one. Can never go wrong with a simple colour like that.
That's right. You missed the silver fern custom paint job that you had?
Yeah, I love having a custom, special, different frame like that. That's super sick. I'll always have that frame though. That'll be at my house forever. But yeah, maybe we'll do something special for the Worlds this year if I get selected.
Great. Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a long time since we caught up, and we could probably talk for ages, but we'll keep it bite-sized for everyone. But did you want to say a special message, like a thank you maybe to all of the spectators that were at the first couple of World Cups?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much to everyone who came up and said hello, and the ones that I hadn't seen in so many years. That was so good to see familiar faces, even the ladies in staging and all the officials. It was nice to hassle them again and be a pain in the ass for a weekend. But yeah, the people in New Zealand that organised the New Zealand event that obviously I knew quite well, Amy, Grant, Rupert, everyone, Jeanette that did that was amazing. Honestly, it was a dream come true to even line up on the gate, regardless of whatever results I did. And thank you very much to my club back home, my club over here, Frenchy's Pride, Inspire, and my club here, and everyone that supports me and keeps allowing me to live the dream and try and get better every single day. So a very lucky boy.
Thanks for taking the time, Michael, and hopefully we can catch up with you when you're over in Tulsa.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Are you planning on heading over? No?
No.
Grands?
Fingers crossed, but I'm about 50-50 at this stage. Yeah, I really want to. So if I don't go this year, it'll definitely be next year.
Thought maybe Gary would do a work trip.
Oh, I'll have to butter him up. I'll have to butter him up, I think.
Okay, sounds good. 3 days. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you, mate.
See ya.